I never thought my life would turn into a horror story. Even now, as I sit here writing this, I feel like I'm losing my mind. But I need to tell someone. I need someone to believe me. I met Daniel 7 years ago. He was perfect in every way, kind, hard-working, and loving. He wasn't rich, but somehow we never lacked anything. He was a trader, selling goods in the market, and he always had money. Whenever I asked about his family, he would just smile and say, "I'm an orphan. It's just me." At first, I didn't think much of it. Some people don't have family. Some people cut ties with their past. And honestly, I was too happy to care. We got married within a year, and things only got better. Our business grew, money kept coming in, and we bought land, built a house, and even got a car. It was as if Daniel brought good luck with him. Everything we touched turned to gold. We had 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. They were beautiful, smart, and strangely, they never got sick, not even a fever. I used to joke that they were special, but looking back now, I wonder. For 7 years, my life was perfect. And then, one day, it all changed. The woman in the market. It was a normal afternoon. We were at the market, buying vegetables, when an old woman stopped in front of us. She had a basket on her head, and when she saw Daniel, she froze. Her face turned pale. Her eyes widened in shock. She whispered, "Daniel, but you're dead." I laughed, thinking it was a mistake. "You must be confusing him with someone else," I said. But the woman didn't look away. She dropped her basket, spilling tomatoes and onions all over the ground. Her hands were shaking. "I know you," she said, her voice weak. "You died 10 years ago. I was at your funeral." I felt my stomach drop. I turned to Daniel, expecting him to laugh, to tell the woman she was crazy. But he didn't. He just stood there, silent. His grip on my hand tightened. Then he pulled me fast, like he was trying to escape. I yanked my hand away. "Daniel, what is she talking about?" He didn't answer. He looked at me with something I had never seen in his eyes before. The woman grabbed my arm. "Madam, please listen to me," she begged. "I knew him. We lived in the same village. He died in an accident 10 years ago. We buried him with our own hands." My head started spinning. That wasn't possible. I had been with Daniel for 7 years. We had a home. We had children. I turned to him, my voice barely a whisper. "Tell her she's lying." But he didn't. Instead, he ran. He took off into the crowd, disappearing before I could chase him. I called his name, screaming for him, but he never looked back. And that was the last time I ever saw my husband. The truth. I was shaking when I turned back to the woman. "What do you mean he's dead?" I demanded. "How can he be dead? We have children together." The woman held my hand and took me to a bench. "I don't know how," she whispered, "but I know what I saw. Daniel died 10 years ago. He was a young man, full of life, just like you see him now. He was in an accident. We cried, we mourned. We buried him in the village graveyard." My mind refused to believe it. I went home that night in a daze. When I got there, I noticed something strange. Daniel's things were gone. His clothes, his shoes, his favorite chair where he used to sit. Even his scent was fading. It was as if he had never lived there. I searched for our wedding photos, but in every picture he looked blurry. Sometimes he wasn't even in them at all. I tried to find records of him, his ID, his birth certificate, anything. But there was nothing. No official document that proved he had ever existed. I asked his old customers from the market. None of them remembered him clearly. Some said he was always just there, but they couldn't recall when he had started selling. It was like he was a shadow, a ghost passing through life. The children. Then something even stranger happened. My children started falling sick. For 7 years, they had been perfectly healthy, never even a cold. But after Daniel disappeared, it was like all the sickness they had never experienced came at once. Fever, cough, weakness, every week it was something new. Doctors couldn't explain it. One night, my youngest daughter woke up screaming. "He's here," she cried, pointing at the window. "Daddy's outside." I ran to the window, but there was nothing. Just darkness. But I felt something, a presence, like someone was watching. Then, one night, I had a dream. Maybe it wasn't a dream. I woke up and saw Daniel standing at the foot of my bed. He looked sad. "I didn't mean to leave," he whispered, "but you were never supposed to know." Tears rolled down my face. "Who are you?" I asked. "Were you ever real?" He didn't answer. He just smiled. Then, slowly, he faded, like smoke in the wind. The grave. I went to the woman's village the next day. She took me to the graveyard. And there, covered in moss and dirt, was a tombstone. Daniel S. died 2013. May his soul rest in peace. I fell to my knees. I had been married to a dead man, had children with him, shared a life with him, and I never knew. The ending. It's been a year since Daniel disappeared. My children are better now, but sometimes, at night, I hear whispers, footsteps outside the window, and sometimes, when I look into my children's eyes, I see him, watching, waiting.